Here's a tip for news-based trading. Hi, it's Charlie giving you Saturday's video. So I'm just going to use a currency chart here, and this tip is not about trying to trade the news as it comes out. This is all about the aftermath, this tip. So this is about the aftermath of when you have a big news day and whereby the news comes out as a beat. So you want news to come out as a beat. So let's take an example. So where you've had, let's say, non-farm payrolls. So you've got non-farm payrolls. If we can, there we go. You've got non-farm payrolls, and they've come out as a beat. So the headline number, they've made more jobs, etc., etc. And so that's the sort of news day you're looking for. So, and the nice thing with this is you don't need to be trying to intraday trade around the news as it happens. This is in the aftermath, as I've said. So you've either got beats or misses. So it could be that on a non-farm payroll you get misses and the numbers come in weaker than was forecast. And yet the market at the end of the day, or even a few hours later, does the complete opposite. And so quite often when you get something like that, when the news has come out, which in theory should drive the market in one direction, let's say it's a positive on non-farm payrolls, then if it comes out stronger, then that would normally be positive for the dollar and weaker, like I've got up here, weaker for the euro dollar, and vice versa. But if the non-farm payrolls came out strong, and yet by later in the day or by the end of the day, the euro dollar went higher, so therefore that's not what should happen in a situation like that, then you've got to take that on board and say, okay, the market doesn't want to go when clearly there's news that should in theory help that market go down. A strong non-farm payroll report should send the euro dollar down, but it doesn't. By the end of the day, maybe it goes down initially during the day and then turns. By the end of the day or several hours later, it's already given you that sign. Hold on a second, this is completely reversing here. So what that often tells us is that there's just not the appetite to carry on pushing prices any lower. And there can be other reasons, of course, as well. The market might start to interpret data differently at given times. Let me give you some examples. Actually, there's an example as I'm recording this here today. I'm recording this on Friday afternoon. We've just had the PCE report this afternoon, so the Fed's preferred measure of inflation, and that came in slightly lower. Okay, so the currencies, and the euro included here, all rallied hard earlier in the day, and yet on that, which is what should happen, so the dollar falls on that, and yet as you can see at the moment, the euro and the other currencies, I can see them off screen, have all done similar things. They've given back all their gains. Now, that's not really enough at the moment. What we would need to see is a complete reversal and the euro end up back down, on a red candle. So we don't know yet whether that is going to happen. This still could be noise. I'm recording this halfway through the day. But that's the sort of thing that you would be looking for. So, and I've got a great example actually. There was one a while back. I mean, they happen more often than you think, but there's one that stands out for me because I remember I was trading it I was down in London on that particular day. It was back here at the end of 2022. It was this day here, I believe, 13th of October, and that was a inflation day. It was a CPI inflation out of America, and that came out on that day. It came out hot, and as you can see during the day there, quite rightly, the euro dollar came down, which is what one would expect on an inflation print that came out hot. And yet by the end of the day it completely reversed, so a complete reversal, and then following on from that, prices went higher. So little tip for the weekend: watch out for given news days when the news should, like in that example, should have sent the dollar one way or another, but it reverses by later in the day or by the end of the day. Take that as a sign. It's not a guarantee that, oh yeah, the price is definitely going to go higher, because nothing's a guarantee. But certainly if it's happening into a key support zone or resistance, depending on where the price is, then it makes it even more interesting. So have a look at that. You can incorporate it into your own trading and say, okay, we're at some key levels here, and yet the market should have gone through or should have closed higher, whatever. And yet if it doesn't close higher on that day, whatever the market is, whether you're trading stock indices or currencies, and if they do the opposite to what the news was, then it's a sign. And so there you go. It's my little tip there with regards to news-based trading for this weekend.